Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So this is the as promised travel vlog for Alaska. My father was kind enough to include 2 of his children. Unfortunately, all of us were unable to go, but the room held up to 4 people. So my father ended up getting a cruise for my mom and himself, and he basically said, free for all, whichever 2 kids want to come, we'll cover the cost. For $500 for each additional person. Once you're on the cruise, any activities that we do, you have to fund, but you're welcome to join us. So basically, I got a pretty much fully paid for cruise to Alaska, minus the tickets and the excursions. So I think for the cruise trip altogether, I paid out of pocket about $600, which was an incredible experience. So shout out to my dad for doing that. That was so sweet of him to think of us and to include me. And we actually had a lovely time. May is kind of the beginning of the summer season in Alaska. It's still very, very cold, but it's beautiful overall. And so here's just some footage from that wonderful trip. I will sadly say that some of these videos are a little bit shaky because we were on a ship. The water obviously had the boat moving, and then on top of that we were walking. There were people behind us. So they're not the best quality videos, so I do apologize for that. But this is just a little bit of an idea of what was actually going on the physical cruise ship. On the first day, we didn't really have anything else to do but to hang out on the ship because it took a full day of sea travel in order to get to our first destination. So these video clips that are coming up are basically video clips of the Seattle harbor where we took off from, what the Norwegian Bliss kind of looked like from the outside. It was a huge, huge ship. We were on the 15th floor, which was 2 levels away from the top floor. So that was also really cool. Beautiful, beautiful views. We actually had a balcony and everything. And one thing I did realize is I forgot to actually film the room itself. So I don't have any pictures of our room, but the bathroom was quite nice. And the room was quite spacious, even though there were 4 of us in there, and we had a place to store everything, which was great. I have shots of the 3 main activity floors, which is basically the 8th floor, the 7th floor, and the 6th floor. The 7th floor is the casino floor. The 8th floor kind of had some bars and some nice vibes. It had the theater on that floor. And then on the 6th floor, that's where you had the main open area, the Starbucks, the guest counters, all that kind of stuff. And then moving on from that, I have a few clips of the upstairs of the ship as well as some of the observation deck areas. I also have in here one of the sit-down restaurants, the Manhattan, that actually had a really beautiful vibe and view. I also have some videos of the buffet, which is where we primarily ate after figuring out that they had so many different stations and so many different types of foods. If there's one thing I can say about cruising, is that you very quickly learn you're going to gain a lot of weight because there's consistently food being thrown your way and it's all delicious and you want to try all of it. But here's my recommendation: pace yourself, because a lot of times some of the stations don't change too many of their menu options. I will say the Taste of India section was amazing because they did have a new menu every single day, which was lovely. But overall, food was excellent on the ship. And then there's also some images of some of the mini golf and the outdoor pool and the speedway track that they had on board. One place I did not film though was the spa area, just out of respect of privacy for other people. I couldn't film that, but my mom and dad actually got a package for the last 2 days for all of us to go to the spa, which was great. It had a hot sauna, a wet sauna, a solarium, a salt bath, a snow room, and then it also had 2 therapy pools. It had heated chairs overlooking the window so you can actually look out into the ocean. It was a lovely, lovely, lovely treat, and I can't thank my parents enough for that. So that, unfortunately, I do not have included here, but this is just a basic idea of what we did on the ship that first day. stop that we went to, or I should rather say the first stop that we went to, was Sitka. Sitka is one of the largest port sites in Alaska. It is technically an island of Alaska. It's not attached to the mainland, but it's also one of the primary areas to be able to experience some of the wildlife. Unfortunately, many of the bears weren't quite active in the wild, but they did have a preserve where they've actually rescued a few bears. So we were able to see the native bear population of Alaska, which included some black bears and brown bears, and I have some footage of that. They also had quite a few bald eagles, which was really cool to see. So they were all out in the wild. We also got to see the Raptor Center, which is an area where all the bald eagles in Alaska are sent to for recovery if they're injured. And it also had some other beautiful birds in that area as well, including owls such as the snowy owl, my precious little Hedwig, a beautiful red-tailed hawk, as well as a couple of other type of owls. And it's basically a sanctuary for these birds. They also had a golden eagle that was in the facility as well. So I have some footage from that. And then last but not least, in Sitka, we did get to see some of the totem poles as well as the Tonka rainforest. So the Tonka rainforest happens to be the largest rainforest currently within the United States that has been undisturbed. So that was really cool to see in the Alaskan territories as well. So here are some video clips from the visit to Sitka, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Want some more? More?
I don't know. I don't know, don't know, I don't know, don't know, I don't know,
I did want to say here that in this particular section, in these two video clips specifically, I did not take the audio out because these bird calls were just so interesting to me. So I had to share them with you guys. One of them is of a raven that was just flying around and then sitting on top of one of the perches, just kind of discussing life, I guess, with us. It was giving us a full sermon with some warbles and some chirps. And then the bald eagle also did its call as well. And it almost sounded like a high-pitched laughter, but hope you guys enjoy the little clip.
Dang, why you so negative? Ayyo. Oh, it's crazy that that's what eagles sound like.
And that was basically all the animals in Sitka. From here, we have the Totem Pole Park and the Tonka Forest. Enjoy. That was basically all the major spots that we saw in Sitka. From there, we ended up going to Juneau. Now, Juneau had some beautiful, beautiful views. So I have some clips here from the balcony looking out at the port, as well as some video footage of the glaciers that we saw. And last but not least, a little bit of the whale watching trip that we did on this first day in Juneau. Weren't those tail shots so cool? That was absolutely amazing and a great way to start the whale watching component of our trip. From there, we were back on the boat for quite some time, so you can just see some clippage of us killing time playing board games. This is that Tiny Epic Vikings game that I pulled out of my suitcase when I was showing you Pack With Me for Alaska, so that's kind of what it looks like set up. Then I also have some footage of the hanging glaciers that we did get to see on our way to the icy straits. So this does include the Dall glaciers, etc., etc. So enjoy.
Turn after that, okay? So nobody fights immediately. Anyways, if you want to start a battle, you'll place a Viking card face down, like
After that, we ended up in Icy Straits in a smaller area called Hoonah. That was absolutely incredible. We also got some really fun videos right off the balcony. I have that posted first, which is basically full breaches of the calves of the whales in the humpback family that were visiting the area. And then I also have some footage of the pod of whales that we followed while we were on our whale watching tour at Icy Straits. I also have some footage here of some wild bald eagles, as well as some of the other marine aquatic animals, including a clan of sea otters. That's a little fuzzy because they were moving quite a bit. Some sea lions, which I thought was super cool. And then also just some fun footage of the overall scenery that we saw at Icy Straits. From there, we went to Ketchikan, where the actual port where they had a stop was really cool and the interior was decorated. We drove around Ketchikan, got to see some beautiful views, the dams, things like that. I will say it wasn't as exciting for me because we didn't get to see any wild bears, but it was very beautiful nonetheless. All of Alaska, I can truly say, is gorgeous, and that was fun to see. And unfortunately, I don't have any footage of Victoria. We landed in Victoria, Canada around 7 p.m. I think is when we docked, and then we left around midnight, and we were pooped. Solidly pooped. No one went anywhere. But my dad did end up doing the walking tour and said it was quite incredible. My mom, brother, and I kind of stayed on the ship. So this is kind of the last footage that I have of the Alaska cruise. And that concludes my trip to Alaska. It was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every single second of it. And it was just such a blast to be able to spend some time with my family. That being said, lots of, little tips and fights did break out. All family vacations, I think, are a little bit stressful. So that being said, I had a wonderful time and I cannot thank my parents enough. And I genuinely was crying at the airport when I had to leave because I do absolutely love my family, but I'm exhausted and I am pooped. So I'm about to go to bed. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot thank you enough. If you are new here, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. This is a one-off. I typically don't do too many travel videos. I have had quite a few recently, I've realized, about one a month, but that's just because I have been very blessed to be able to go to a lot of places so far this year. But primarily this is a book channel, so if you have a fiction addiction like myself, you're definitely in the right place. So definitely consider checking in and tuning in again. I put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday. For those of you that are returning, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for building this community with me. It truly means the world to me. And I'm so grateful for all the other fiction addiction and lovers out there. And I seriously cannot thank you enough for allowing me to continue my reading journey. I will catch you guys on the flip side on the next one. Bye, guys.